Hello, what's this? Uh-oh. Hi, what's this? What's I've stumbled upon here? Facebook Live with me, JJ STAIANO. The internet, the Wi-Fi is really bad here, so I hope this is all going to come off. Look into camera. I'm trying to make it a bit visual. I don't know if you like the entrance there, because I've noticed a worrying statistic. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently 70%, yes, you heard me, 70% of the Facebook Live videos are watched without the sound on. So what I'm trying to say is that people are watching me just sitting here without the sound on. Is that working? So, I'm just trying to give some subliminal messages throughout the broadcast, because I know you're watching with the sound on probably, but can you believe that people are watching without the sound on? I can't believe it. So that was the entrance there. I'm going to maybe work on that a bit. So we've got some questions here today. We've got about breastfeeding implants. I think we've covered that already, but I'm going to talk about it again because we've got someone asking it. Well, I'll go through them. Just going to go through them. Simple as that. Subliminal messaging. Right. So breastfeeding. Just going to see if this works. Oh God, see if my stats get better with my subliminal messaging. So what we're talking about now is, can you breastfeed with implants? That's the question. I should just write the answer. Well, actually, then people won't turn the sound on at all. So yeah, if you want to know the answer to that question, turn the sound on. Patient is 38 weeks pregnant. She had implants 2 years ago. Can she breastfeed? Yes, you can. Yeah. I shouldn't nod because you've got to turn the sound on. Yeah, anyway, you can. Yeah. The answer is yes, absolutely no problem with breastfeeding whatsoever. Whether the implants go in front or behind the muscle, they go behind the breast tissue, so they don't damage any breast ducts or anything like that. So it's more of a problem when you're doing a mastopexy or a breast reduction. That might affect the ability to breastfeed, but breast implants shouldn't affect the ability to breastfeed. That should be fine. Assuming you can breastfeed already, some people can't breastfeed, so but the presence of implants will not alter your ability to breastfeed. The only thing is that having implants having children or getting pregnant makes your breasts bigger because of the milk, and so the size and the shape of your breast might change. That's answering a different question really, but I did a blog post about that. Check out my blog. I should have one saying check out my blog. Anyway, but yeah, you can breastfeed, no problem with implants whatsoever. That's fine. You can breastfeed. So then we got serial excision. How long between serial excisions of a tattoo? How long between serial excisions of a tattoo? This is a couple of people who've got big tattoos and they need several sessions of removal because I can't get it out in one go. And they obviously want it done as quickly as possible, which is understandable, because it needs multiple sessions and they want to get it over with. And I normally say it takes at least 3 months for everything to settle between removal of tattoo, between each session. And what I normally do is I see 6 weeks, see how it's going, and then plan the next one. But sometimes it can be a bit tighter, and I think this is one of the issues we've got at the moment, because a patient who had done a couple of serial excisions, and the last go was at 3 months, and it was quite tight, it was quite difficult. The local anaesthetic didn't work very well, because if the scar tissue is still quite tight, then the local anaesthetic doesn't permeate through the tissues as well as when there's no scar tissue there at all, or if there's, I hope that music's not really loud in the background. Right, when you haven't got any scar tissue at all, the local anaesthetic works really well. When there's scar tissue there, the local anaesthetic works less well, and the firmer and the earlier the scar tissue is, the less well it works. The more mature the scar tissue is, the local anesthetic works better, and also the tissues are softer, so you can get more out. So there's a lot to be said for leaving it longer. I usually, as a compromise, say 3 months, give or take. But especially if you're taking as much as you can each time, sometimes you get a little bit of the wound not healing up properly, and you get little scabby bits, and that can take longer for that scar to settle. And so sometimes longer is better. And it actually can be a false economy to do it too soon, because if you have like a tattoo, you can, if you have, say, like a, let's think of the maths are going to work now, like a 10 centimeter tattoo, and let's say you can take 2 centimeters. Should have thought this through. If you take 2 centimeters out each time, and it's 3 months each, that's 5. Lots of 3 months, that's 15 months, right? But if you wait longer than 3 months, if you wait 4 months, and you can take 5 centimeters out, that's 2 lots of 4. Right, that's 8 months. Anyway, the concept, I think, is there. I think it's quite clear for you to see. Is it? The concept. So basically, sometimes leaving it longer can make it shorter. So that's what I mean about false economy. Try and do it too quickly. You only get a little bit out every time. Whereas if you left it a bit late, so you get more out. So you might actually be able to get it out quicker in the long run by leaving it a little bit longer. So 3 months is a minimum, but sometimes it's longer than that, especially if it's been tight with the last excision and hasn't healed up properly. Does there have to be an umbilical? Well, actually, I've got a bit mixed up with my questions here. I think the question was, does there have to be a scar around the belly button with a tummy tuck? What about in there? Why is belly button scar with tummy? A similar sort of thing. So, well, no, there doesn't have to be a belly button scar with a tummy tuck. There, you can do a mini tummy tuck which doesn't have a scar around the belly button, just has a scar around the, just as a scar down the lower part, and so that's not giving you a scar around the belly button. So why is there a scar around the belly button? Now, if you imagine the excess that you have when you need a tummy tuck is in the lower abdomen, from the belly button down, that's usually where the worst excess is. So if you imagine taking away tissue from the lower abdomen, you're basically taking ellipse of tissue like a rugby ball shape. Oh my God, my patch is running out. Like a rugby ball shape of tissue from the lower abdomen. If you don't do anything to the belly button, that belly button is going to get pulled down. So when you have a mini tummy tuck where you don't make a cut around the belly button, it gets pulled down, and the belly button gets pulled down a bit. And it's only really suitable for a little bit of people with a little bit of fullness in the lower abdomen. If you've got a lot of fullness in your lower abdomen, a full tummy tuck removes all the tissue from the belly button down to the pubic area. Now, if you didn't make a scar around the belly button would then end up in the pubic area. The belly button would get pulled all the way down to just above your pubic bone, just above your pubic hair. And clearly that wouldn't be a good look at all. So therefore what we do is make a cut around the belly button, let the belly button drop in, pull all that tissue down, and then make a new hole in the bit of skin that's been pulled down, and place the belly button in the same place that it was to start with, so it's still in the center of the tummy. So that's why you end up with a scar around the belly button and the scar lower down. What was the question? Why is there a scar? Yeah, that's why. So that's why, because in a full tummy tuck, you take a lot more skin than you do with a mini tummy tuck. And if you didn't move the belly button, if you didn't make a scar around the belly button, your belly button would end up in the pubic area, which would not be a good look at all. So that's why you need to reposition the belly button in the same position. That is that. Maybe in real life I could describe that better. But anyway, implant high. Right, I was running out of paper, so I'll get on the back of this one. Implants riding high. So this is when the implants sit a bit high. Now they always sit a bit high to start off with, and then they usually settle over time. But sometimes they can stay high, and this is usually a problem when implants are placed under the muscle. So if implants are placed under the muscle, then one of the downsides, there's obviously good things about it and there's bad things about it. And one of the bad things about it is that it can make the implants sit high, and if the implants as I say, they always sit high to start off with, and then they usually settle. the particular question is, actually, I'm going to write it down. Should I? So we've got a patient who's got implants in her. She's 5 months post-op, and she's worried if she should exercise because she's worried she's going to pull the implants higher, or it's just one of them is high. She should pull the implant higher. It's a balance. I think at 5 months you can start exercising, and in fact, usually at about sort of 2 months or 6 to 8 weeks, I say that you can start exercising and doing stuff with your arms, because I think it is good to exercise and do things. The implant settling can take a long time, so 5 months is not fully settled. You know, it can take up to a year or maybe even more for things to fully settle. So it can take many, many months for things to settle. So I don't think you should not do exercise during all that time, but it is always a balance, because that movement of the muscle is going to give a pull on that implant, and we've just got to hope that it settles. The main things that I would say is massage can help, massaging the upper pole, and also we've doing this patient like a band. You can wear a band. Some people routinely use the band after breast implant surgery. I don't routinely use it, but in cases where the implants are a bit high, then you can use a band, which gives pressure into the upper pole to try and help that implant go down. But I think you should exercise. I think it's good to exercise. It's good to be fit. So you should do that. But yeah, it's just one of the downsides of putting them under muscle. But then there are good things about it as well, because you can't necessarily see the implant, feel the implant, things like that. Have I rattled through those really quickly? Are those papers, were they putting me off or not? Maybe I haven't, I don't know. So that's it. I thought there was quite a few questions. Anyway, that was the questions, I think. And I'd be very interested to see the stats, to see if we get the sound on with my cue cards. Hope you enjoyed the visual fest today. I'm going to check out, because I am done here. My work is done, and I am going to be back next week. Yeah, it's not Easter yet, is it? Well, it is. I'm not off next week. I'm off the week after. So happy Easter for next week. It's this weekend, isn't it? So happy Easter for everyone. And if you have any questions as ever, please tweet me or email me or Facebook me, and I will see you back here this time next week. Have a nice evening.